welcome to Business Shorts. My name's Tim Rentow and this is my series of videos from ADC Innovations talking about all things strategy and transformation related for B2B software companies, and rather stupidly I've kind of committed to filming all these in one take. Anyway, today I want to talk about a really important subject, and it's a topic that many software companies struggle with, and that topic is what to do once your business reaches the sort of the plateau stage in the software business lifecycle. So when I worked in private equity, in M&A and business integration, I was often dealing with recent enterprise software acquisitions, companies that had grown from absolutely nothing to achieve international success. And then that growth cycle had sort of slowed and they've reached maturity and the business had plateaued. And this is where often software businesses start to follow completely the wrong path. As the business matures, so does the technology, and younger companies with newer technologies enter the arena and they start to eat into your market share. And this is a scary time for any software business owner. But more often than not, this kickstarts a chain reaction of strategies, all of which are sort of band-aid solutions, and they're fraught with short-termism and also with additional cost. They're sort of strategic knee-jerk reactions, if you will. Anyway, so all of these reactions are quite natural, but if you want to secure a long-term future for your business, then these candidly will not help you guys, you know? Let's take a look at these band-aid solutions. Well, number one, the first one, and it's the most common one, is software companies that are in this phase of their life cycle tend to try and develop their way out of the situation. So often this means creating costly features that try and make the product more competitive with the latest solution on the market, but that in reality only ever serve to placate customers that have been threatening to move on from the platform for a while. Those features, the features they develop only ever serve as a sort of short-term fix. And I often think of it as a bit like sort of de-chroming your car to give it that stealth look. You know, the sort of thing I mean, where people spend hundreds or maybe thousands, covering up their chrome trim with aftermarket products in a sort of effort to make the car look like the very latest models, that are coming from the brand. And at the time, it feels like a really good idea to de-chrome your car. And it makes a small difference to the way it looks, but fundamentally, guys, it's exactly the same car underneath. And that gratification that you get from that is really quite short-lived. And it's often the same case with developing new features for a mature software product. It's a short-term fix. It doesn't address the real reason that you've hit that sort of inevitable plateau. And, once software business owners see that all of a sudden their revolutionary new feature that they've developed isn't going to be the savior that they hoped for, then, net customer retention is still starting to wane, and, they take to LinkedIn, they take to MailChimp and a whole host of other marketing tools to try and drum up some new customers to replace the old ones. And I'm going to be publishing a whole blog about new customer acquisition in the near future. But one of the things that I will talk about is just how expensive it is. You could be looking at costs of up to 50,000 per customer acquired in the enterprise software space. Plus, your likelihood of landing a new customer is typically between about 5 and 20%. So you're going to end up spending a whole lot of money and kissing a whole lot of frogs before you meet a prince. So, okay, so what's next? What do we typically see next from the software business owners? Well, the next steps that the business owners usually take when they see this sort of hole appearing in their revenues is, well, they put the price up, of course, and they kind of hope that it doesn't impact the customer net retention too badly. Well, I can answer that one right away. If you have a bunch of customers that are already starting to explore other solutions in the market, but they don't really want to move because of the sheer hassle and upheaval involved in moving to a new unfamiliar platform, well, a price hike with no additional benefit is a wonderful catalyst for them. And all of a sudden, it makes the additional effort needed to move to the competition worth it for them. Okay, so, thus far, none of these options have really worked that well. So, well, how about changing the price model so that services which were once included in the contract price now actually become adders? So be that, professional services, business reviews, access to customer success teams, product training, all those sorts of things that were once included in the price when we were in our growth phase, but are now being offered at an additional cost. And ultimately your customer is getting less for more. And you know what, guys? Newsflash, that's not a sustainable approach either. So then, in a fit of despair, to remedy that situation, you end up being forced to taking drastic action. You start to get fed up with your business. It was once your pride and joy, but you've decided it's now time to exit. But you know that your revenue and margin are key factors in any valuation, and both seem to be going in the wrong direction. So you've decided that none of the previous sort of courses of action have had the desired effect. So in order to sort of plug that gap, in the budget, you need to make savings. And these savings usually come in the form of headcount reduction, reducing infrastructure costs, support services, or something else. But the truth is, customers are not daft. They will feel the decrease in service levels, and they'll notice that their favourite customer success team member or most experienced engineer is no longer with the business. And all of a sudden, they start to see, these few red flags popping up. So I'm sorry to paint such a negative depiction of this phase of a software company's life cycle, but truthfully, it's realistic. It's a very tough place to be, and it's an even tougher place to navigate successfully. But the best news is that you can do something about it. Firstly, you need to chart an exciting and profitable future for the business. So you need a compelling plan and a vision. After all, you are a solution provider, and a great, well thought out vision for your business can breathe new life into the company. It can breathe new life into your employees, and most importantly, it can breathe new life into your customers. But don't instantly think about your vision as a sort of precursor to a roadmap which has a whole list of features that you're going to develop. Instead, take a look at the real struggles that your customers are having, the ones that they're facing right now, and think about how you can use your product to help them solve these problems. And you will be amazed how much more receptive customers are to this approach, as opposed to a vision which is essentially made up of a set of slightly geeky features that you and your developers have been wanting to create for ages, but that have no real value to the customer. So that's one. Secondly, you need to review your customer success strategy. We've established that it's difficult for you to compete with newer solutions, and they've got those awesome feature sets and they've got the latest UI, but you have almost endless opportunities to make your customers more successful using your highly experienced and knowledgeable team. So think about that. And then this also leads me perfectly into my third point. Consider your value proposition. You still have the power to affect how much value customers get from your product. And who doesn't want more value for something without having to pay for it? I often think of it, it's a bit like when you get given more cell phone data in your plan, or more cloud storage, or a faster processor in your new laptop. If the price remains the same as it was, you feel like you're really getting good value. And you're far more likely to remain loyal to a provider or a brand if you feel that they're constantly delivering greater value to you, the customer. Great example. How many times have you been back to a car dealership to buy another vehicle from them because you like the salesperson, or you like, the service team is great, or heck, I don't know, you may just really like the coffee that they serve in the showroom. And that's customer loyalty. The car dealership may not sell the best car on the market, but you don't care because the experience is familiar and it's comfortable, and it's much harder to go to another car dealership, you know, build that rapport, learn all the features and peculiarities of a new brand, and then eventually discover that their coffee sucks anyway, but all because you wanted the latest and greatest car on the road. This is exactly the same as software. And of course, there are other commercial levers that you can pull, other strategies that you can implement, and I'll talk about those and everything that I've covered here, but merely touched on in further episodes of Business Shorts. But most importantly, I want you to know that if you find your software company on that plateau, there's still plenty of hope. There really is, guys, and there is a better way, and you shouldn't be downhearted just because, you know, the growth phase has ended and because you've entered a new part of your business life cycle. This phase, for me, can be just as exciting, if not more so, than the growth phase. So this doesn't need to be your sort of business midlife crisis. Instead, it can be the start of a new and exciting direction that, you know, candidly rejects the plateau and also the decline phase of that traditional business life cycle curve, and can set you on a whole new and exciting, profitable trajectory. Well, anyway, look, that's it for today. I need to live up to the name of this video series and keep these short, but as I said, I'll cover these success strategies in more detail in the future. So thanks for watching, and we'll speak again very soon. Goodbye.